6. Time right now for JS On Air. Milwaukee County will now be audited as a result of a Journal Sentinel investigation.
It has to do with the county's transit contracts and a mistake that could cost you millions of dollars. We're joined by JS reporter Gitte Laasby, who broke this story.
Gitte,
Hey
so they want this audit. What purpose will the audit serve?
Well, there are a few different questions that were raised. First, I think they're going to try to establish some facts. Are the potential savings that were lost here really as big as we're saying? And then what happened and what could be done to stop this from happening again? I think those are some of the key questions they're looking at.
What prompted you guys to take a look at this and investigate it?
Well, obviously, it's a lot of money, and so people are looking for an answer at this point. Is there really a way out of this? And so we're talking about two separate contracts, and they have different conditions, and ironically, the more expensive of them is harder to get out of. So one of them pretty much says you would have to have the feds cut funding for paratransit services for these rides to get out of that one. The other one, you could pay $150 grand and get out of it. And the potential savings are bigger if you could cancel the more expensive contract. So according to these bids, you could save somewhere between $2.5 and $4.5 million over the 3 years if you were to go by that one. But of course, if you put it out for bids again, are you really going to save anything? Because now the different bidders know what each other came in with the first time.
And Gitte, one of the main reasons we're here is because somebody has the authority to sign off on a 3-year emergency contract for millions and millions of dollars. Is there talk about maybe changing some policies here to make sure that one person doesn't have that kind of power in the future?
Well, that's kind of a complicated issue. I think the more immediate thing they can do is put some constraints on what can be done in case of an emergency, and that they could do that by putting a restriction on how long this emergency can last. So if they put a year as a limit, for instance, they can't have a company come in and take advantage of the county if they're in a vulnerable position like this. But of course, that has to apply to a contractor as well, because it's a contractor who manages this transit system. So we would have to apply to that, not just to the county in general.
All right, Gitte Laasby, thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Welcome.
You can read more about her story on jsonline.com. We also have a link on our website, tmj4.com.
Coming up at